Good evening, everybody. Thank you for taking time out of your Thursday evening to join us here at Mead School. Thanks to Margie Dorhorst for hosting us and giving up your cafeteria for us to take over tonight. Want to acknowledge a couple of people that are here tonight. We have a number of city council members here. They're all sitting together, so they must be making some big decisions. Well, not all except for Tom, I guess. We've got 6 of them, and Scott there too. So just raise your hands, guys, if you could, just so we can acknowledge the city council members here tonight. So thanks again for joining us. These are the guys that made it happen. I'd like to take all the credit, but of course, these are the guys that ultimately make this possible for us to get to this stage. So thanks to them. City staff, we have a number of city staff in the room. If you could raise your hand, those that work for the city. Thank you for being here, and thank you for sticking with us to make this a possibility as well. We've got a number of students in the room. Some of you were at City Hall in the City Council chambers, sitting in one of those council members' chairs, making some decisions about this project. Ileana, raise your hand, and anyone else that I'm forgetting that came to City Hall, raise your hand. A couple in the back, in the middle. Let's give them a round of applause for In as much as this is a city project, this is the community's project, and this is the youth of this city and their future to be a part of it. Talk about an exciting opportunity. I'll tell you, we had a lot of fun hosting them. So I don't know who had more fun, the kids or us, in planning the splash pad. I know some people got to observe it. We do have it recorded. Check it out online. I think it's on YouTube. Really a fun experience for the youth to be a part of a project that'll be forever here in the city. And then Mayor's Youth Council, we've got a couple of Mayor's Youth Council members in the back of the room, 2 ladies in the back. Served you cookies when you walked here, or got in here. They're going to play a really important role, not only in this project, but in our other aquatics project, in making sure that we raise the money to make sure that we can get the facilities built in this community. So thanks for your work, ladies, and for being here. You know, in many ways, it's been many months to get to the design point to which we are, but many years, as we know. A number of you have been a part of the design aspects or the conceptual ideas for aquatics in this community dating back over 2 decades. And we want to thank you for you know, your participation here tonight in attendance to make this you know, reality. So before we turn it over, I want to acknowledge a donor in the room. Mike, I'm going to put you on the spot. Mike Bovey here is from the Legacy Foundation. Mike's and his group at the Legacy Foundation are playing a really important role in the splash pad component of the project. So I want to make them known and acknowledge them for investing in the community's future. And I think really this project is a great validation for when people say, what is the city doing to make itself more attractive and more friendly to young people and young adults. And there's no better example than this project here tonight. So with that, I want to turn it over to our folks, our experts that we've been working with for the last number of months on achieving the design. So Carter, all right.
Well, it's good to be here tonight. Just a little bit about the itinerary. We have the little open house beforehand, and we're going to have our presentation now. But even following our presentation, that's really your chance to engage and stick around. If you want to talk more about with your ideas, leave some comments on the comment cards, or just look at the boards up close, come do that, because we're here to do that with you. Just to introduce myself, I'm Carter Arndt. I'm a project architect with MSA Professional Services, and I'm the general project leader for this endeavor.
My name is Sarah McDonald. I'm a landscape architect and urban planner, and so I helped develop the master plan for the park.
And I'm Matt Freeby with Water Technology. I'm the consultant on the splash pad and the future swimming pool.
And relative to who we are, we represent a couple firms that have come together for this project. Basically, MSA, we're a municipal engineering firm. We specialize in public projects just like this, and we specialize in park projects as well. So we're here bringing the park expertise of the ball complex and the overall park planning and project leadership. And Water Technology is actually a global leader in aquatics. They're stationed right here in Wisconsin in Beaver Dam, and that's who Matt's with, and that's where we come together to present your project tonight. So as you think about what the city is considering with the visioning, with the opportunity with the splash pad and the donor that so generously is making that possible, it kind of spawned a whole process whereby they need to step back and look at Mead Field and think about what's going to go into this park in the future. They know what it is today, we know it's there now, but what's it going to be in the future? So basically, the goal is to thinking about what's here today, obviously, is the fact that you have what used to be your municipal pool site, right? You'll all remember that probably. You have 4 ball diamonds, really 3 serious ball diamonds and a small youth diamond that are in the park. And they're arranged in a somewhat ineffective manner in regard to having ball games and tournaments and such, with all the diamonds, the home bases oriented away from the park. And then you have 4 tennis courts and of course some parking that's going on in there. So from the onset, there's been a strong emphasis on what this park can be, envisioning its multi-use aspects. By all means, it's great history in it being a ball complex and serving the community with baseball and softball is a very important aspect. And really the developments that we're putting into this project are going to be stellar components. So they're going to have the best layouts, the best components to accommodate the baseball complex. But then we looked at some other things, such as the tennis courts and reworking those, consideration to energize the park with your nearby bike trail, of course playground areas, splash pad areas, and other components that are important to the facility. And then even looked at, obviously, some open park shelter areas. Right now, the park doesn't really accommodate spaces that people in the community can come that aren't playing ball, that want to just experience a park. And as well as the idea of creating a 4-season rentable space, in the same way like a park shelter is used, but something you could use in the winter for grandma's birthday party or something like that. So the idea of really energizing the park and serving the neighborhood and the community as a whole, including baseball and beyond. And another important aspect is just what does this park feel like? The city's been going through a process with the riverfront development and the upcoming Witter project, the aquatics park over there, and this project, where they're trying to tap into facilities that are really capturing the character of Wisconsin Rapids. And there's just been some themes that have been developing and coalescing, and they have to do with the historic place that this community comes from, with the timber history, obviously the stone, the natural stone that's in the area, the steel from the industry component of the area, and then the idea of flow and float and the river with mound. So just taking those ideas and actually basing them into a theory behind our design.
And so all of these different aspects sort of came together to this developed master plan. And really a master plan is just a vision for the long-term planning of the future. This is really flexible, right? We're showcasing some of the different elements that could be in this park. It's by no means set in stone, and as the city gets funds and input from you all, these things might adapt to some degree. And so some of the things we'll talk about a little bit more detail here are the different uses of the athletic fields here, the splash pad, of course, which is another main driving force as in the design. And then support facilities like your rentable shelters, your parking lots are, of course, are very important to the function of events that you would have here. And then just making this a gathering space, making sure that all the relationships of all the elements in the program that are desired on the site make sense to one another, so that this isn't what it was in existence now, where there's a baseball field kind of tucked off to one side and there's not a lot of relationship to those elements to make it a cohesive design. We just wanted to point out that this design really yields 2 additional parking spaces. So from that standpoint, we're not losing any parking. We know that currently there's some challenges with events and baseball activities where there might be a concern over parking.
Well, one thing just to add to parking, working on a lot of park projects, there's always a natural tension between parking and green space. When we're developing park, the last thing people want to see is a sea of asphalt. So we try to create the right mix of parking. So there's going to be times at peak parking where there's some parking on street, but most of the time you want to be able to accommodate the parking on site. And that's what this, so striking the balance of what's basically the kind amount of parking that's there today, and this plan was a good balance of that.
Absolutely. So if we look at the northeastern quadrant here, you can see the existing parking lot, which is kind of highlighted here in the dark. The dashed lines are future expansion possibilities. There may be a drop-off here, convenient access to drop off your kids at the splash pad. Anybody that needs accessible routes and things like that. Tennis courts, 2 new tennis courts located on the northern portion of the site. A trail, multi-purpose trail that sort of bisects the site and goes throughout, that also will connect to your existing master plan system, which is always a good practice. This is really kind of a core area here with the splash park, which we'll go into a little bit more detail as we go through the presentation. A future events building that could have an outdoor patio. This could host weddings, reunions, birthday parties, a potential revenue source for the city as well. 2 open air shelters for picnics and additional rentable space for other events. If there's tournaments on this site, those 2 could be rented for those purposes. A main sports building, which would have your restrooms, your concessions, the press box, and everything associated with the ball fields to the south there. Carter, were you gonna?
Yeah, I was just gonna add a little bit, you know, relative to some other aspects of this space is associated with the splash park, and you'll see this in the overall concept, but the idea that adding dry play and wet play together is really important, because you'll find that the kids come to the splash park, they want to play for a little while, but you know, maybe they're done with the water for a little while, they want to go play in the playground, and then go back and forth, so you get this nice dialogue. So this plan really tries to emphasize that with the duality of, you know, what might be coming this summer might be a splash park, but then in the future would be a larger accessible playground complex, also in proximity to the ball field. So when the kids are playing ball and things, there's playgrounds nearby for the kids.
Another driving factor in the design of this master plan was considering ages, all ages, so 0 to 99. We want to make sure that it's really a true community park. So what are other people going to be doing at the site? So there's a variety of play area here. We want to make sure that we have all age ranges accounted for in that area. The walking paths naturally tend to a more senior retiree population. As well, so there's a lot of different elements kind of roped into this park to make sure that it's a community asset. The ball fields here, the upper left one here is sized to be a men's baseball league size field, so it's 370 feet to the outfield there. The one down here is we're showing it as a range of possibilities. Right now it is a junior league size, the color part, but we have allowed for space for that additional baseball field, should that be something that's desirable in the future.
And it's also a softball diamond, of course.
Right.
So really, in this concept, it shows that playing both places. It could dual up with having 2 softball fields, or it could dual up to have 2 baseball fields. And like Sarah said, that could be expanded to a full-size men's baseball field if such a field was desired.
And I think that, with thinking a master plan in the future, we don't know exactly what that is. So we're making sure that we're accounting for that potential in the master plan moving forward. And then the field 3 here is a standard softball field. We also incorporated some of the elements like batting cages. We have bullpens and bleachers as well as dugouts kind of accounted for in this area. So this really becomes a hub for activity during tournament times and events. We also have kind of what we'll call our service maintenance area located here, which will have all the grounds equipment, extra materials needed to supplement the fields as well. Dumpsters and things will go there. Another parking lot that will service the baseball fields down here and the park at large. And then again, that trail connection that will meander out through the park, connecting the neighborhood regionally. This is just like a zoom in again of that men's baseball field.
And you can see the amount of attention paid to the potential detail of what that field can be. So really making it a first-class facility.
And more of the same on the southern portion.
So now, the next component is talking about the splash park component. The exciting thing about that project is it's slated to be built this summer and be open this summer. So with that, I can share a little more about that.
Okay. First of all, where are the kids that helped earlier? Stand up for a second, will you? Okay. Give these guys a round of applause because they did an outstanding job. Really did. Essentially, they did my job for me, so it made my life much easier. So thanks again. Couple of things. First of all, splash pad. What the theory behind a splash pad is, there is no standing water. So you can it's in its simplistic form. It's what we used to do as kids, which was put the sprinkler in the backyard and run through it. Or like my kids, we had a trampoline for a little while. My kids' favorite thing was putting a sprinkler under the trampoline and jumping on it. You know, it's the play activity. Well, what we're providing in the splash park is some organized play activities, but at very different scales for different ages and different activity levels. But a splash park is great water play, it's cool for summer use, and you don't have to be a swimmer. So, this splash park is designed in really four. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I refer to the small one, I'm sorry. Okay, so the initial layout of it in terms of how it fits into the park is some seating, some bench areas around it, and then it's surrounded by access sidewalks and things like that. And how it fits. I'm out of order here.
That's okay. We're just trying to get the movie. Does it play the video player or not?
Yeah, does it?
So it's not playing. Oh,
It was.
sorry. There we go. Get started. We just have a little 3D fly around.
Yeah.
And we don't have the full splash park modeled in 3 dimension, but you can see some of the sense of proximity, the building that could be is associated with it. There's a shade structure proposed along the one side, a small open shelter that faces the splash park. And so you can get a little sense of proximity to things. And so you end up with this really nice overlook area from a shelter building to some shaded seating for mom and dad, and you know, to all the details like bike racks and furniture. So with that, we'll just spin around. That's probably good enough, Sarah. And then just relative, basically it's a single restroom building. The idea of this building is to be the mechanical room for the splash park itself, because we need a water service, electrical service. And then it's also an auxiliary restroom. The idea is that this restroom is a family restroom, and it augments ultimately what would be the full restroom facilities that are in the rest of the park as it gets developed in the master plan. You get more restroom facilities, and then you can see the covered area.
Now I get to talk. So, the splash pad, as I mentioned, is divided into 4 basic areas. You have a toddler area up at the top with basically a river or a channel that, tough to see on there, do I have it? The water journey race. Basically, there is a manifold that a child can pump, which lifts the water up, and sends it down the channel. And then in the channel, there are different activities they can play to either dam the water, divert the water down a different channel, and things like that. So it's basically learning how water runs through runnels and channels and things like that. That's this activity right here. The center activity is more of your standing pieces. And again, there are some 3Ds around, not any curve, 3Ds around it that show some of the larger, taller pieces. Kids can run under them, play, stand on some of the geysers, change the activity a little bit. And that's this area here and this area here. And then this area here is basically some water cannons that kids can, you know, pretty typical, they can spray at each other. But what we've made, which is unique to this community, is it's developed into a fireman's game. In other words, there'll be a curb around here, and if you bring a small ball, such as a beach ball, you know, a little rubber ball or something like that, and put it in there, now you have a game of challenge trying to spray the ball into your opponent's goal. So it can be used a couple different ways. It can be used just as a spray cannons, which is very typical and useful. You can also make a game out of it if you want to, so it can become a challenge. I'm excited about that. I'd play that game. So, okay, let's go to the next one. And then here again is the 3D. You can see the water journey race, some of the taller activities that kids can affect and play, and then here's the water cannon game.
So really exciting things about the water journey is just the fact that it's kind of a you know, the kids can play in that and not get all wet. You know, they can come and they can sit down on the ground, they can play with water and allow water to flow through the channels or dam it up in the channels, send little boats down the channels, and have all sorts of fun. So it's just kind of a different level of experience than the higher energy kind of get all wet and run through the water kind of experience.
And then we'll have another view of it. You can see, here's the, from the other side, you can see the fireman's game, in this instance being used just as a, spray arena. Okay.
Well, that just leads us to the schedule of the splash park. Actually, right now it's on track, and if it stays going this way, ultimately for the project to, you know, this meeting here tonight, well, literally in a week and a half or so, we would finish construction documents to get it released for bidding. And then there's about a 1 month process of bidding and award, and ultimately they could start construction in early May. And all that being geared to allow for the park to open yet this year, and allow for some activity to open up and have the grand opening in August. So,
Which portion of it opens first?
well, that's a question. You know, there's potentially the building might open a little later. We're sure we want to get the splash pad up and working for the kids, so that would open first. And but that's the process. So, I think it's that time, huh?
Okay, so we want to hear from you. We want to hear your questions, your comments, and your concerns. Of course, as has been mentioned, this is a master plan concept, right? We aren't building this thing tomorrow. Elements we are building very soon, so we need to get your comments very soon so we can incorporate them into any modifications or revisions to the master plan. A couple of ways you can do so. As soon as we're done here, come up and you've got the 3 designers at your disposal, and so make sure you inform them of your opinions. Us city staff and alderpersons that are floating around, you know, let us know as well. We've got the aquatics@wirapids.org email address still active, and we had that active when we were taking comments and questions on the direction of which we were selecting our outdoor aquatics pieces. And then we've got comment cards in the back. So if you didn't get a cookie or a bottle of water or a copy of the master plan, make sure you do so. In the back there's also comment cards. Fill those out, let us know. Leave your information on there if you want us to contact you, so we can close the loop on your questions. So as was said, this is an exciting project, moving fairly fast, but it's one of 2 major projects that the city is doing to invest in itself and to make itself more attractive for young families and adults. And that one of such the ways is tonight. The other opportunity is in a couple of weeks on April 6th. Tentatively April 6th, we're going to be releasing a concept master plan for the other big aquatic center, the $8.5 million regional scale aquatic center slated for Whitter. And another major project, very, very large in scale and scope, that we've been working on for a long time. So we want to make sure that you pay attention for that opportunity to come and hear the plans, give us your input as well. And certainly want to thank the designers and city staff for making this possible and achieving this, because it's only a concept yet. We don't have shovels in the ground, so it's not certain. But we certainly want to make sure that you know, we get your input as we go forward. You know, this is exciting for us, as you can imagine. It's a community that needs this type of investment in order to remain not only survive but to thrive again. And we hope that this investment in the neighborhood that surrounds this school will give another renewed sense of confidence and support for many generations to come. So thank you again for being here. Joe, did you have something?
Yeah, just a couple quick comments. When staff,
Stand up
sure,
so that
sure.
we can hear you.
My name is Joe Terry, and I'm the Director of Public Works here with the city. Just wanted to make a few comments when the students were giving us advice on the types of things that they were excited about, and some of you that are here tonight that did that. One of the things they really wanted was something big, like a big spider, a big scorpion, or something like that in the park. And for those of you, my comments are basically to you that were helping us out. We couldn't afford to put something quite that majestic in the park. But what we have done is we've asked these folks to design so that we can sometime in the future. So the layout of some of these features are such that we can take them out and someday put that big spider in that you guys were.
And this rendering actually shows that. It shows the spider feature. So basically, it'll all be plumbed to accommodate that feature.
Right.
But it's actually not going to be installed initially.
these pieces right here are set in the position so that you can take those pieces out and replace it in the future.
And then I recognize some folks that were here. We had a discussion with a lot of the folks that play ball, and there was a real desire by a number of people to have 4 diamonds in this park. And staff listened to those concerns. We sat down and we tried to see what we could fit in there. And in order to keep really that concept of an inclusive park, and also for some of the mandatory features, we do have to do some stormwater control and things like that. If we tried to put 4 diamonds in the park, it got so cramped that it really would have taken away from the total experience. So I know there's a lot of you, or some of you here, that were really passionate about that. And I want to say that you know, the mayor and staff and our consultants considered that very carefully. We tried to add a few of the features that were expressed, and we tried to make sure that the future diamond layouts could accommodate, you know, both 2 baseball fields and 2 softball fields, albeit not quite at the same time. So I just wanted to make those few comments and thank everybody for coming.
And I think the primary objective that drove our planning process is it's a multi-use facility today, and it very much will be a multi-facility when we're done with the project. And so we didn't want to compromise too many uses throughout the design process. And so just want to make that comment that it's, again, not etched in stone, but it's a pretty darn close to final concept, but certainly want to hear your input and your comments when we leave here tonight. So thank you. So stick around and engage with us and let us know if you've got any specific questions or concerns. Again, thanks for coming.